In this module, we will study the cardiac cycle, which is alternation between the period of rest, or technically called diastole, or the period of contraction, which is technically known as systole. Human heart is actually two pumping system. Right pump actually sends blood to the lungs, and the left pump sends blood to the rest of the body. And we have studied that there are valves present in the ventricles and atriums, which actually regulate the flow of the blood. So they due to the filling of the atriums and ventricles, there is the period of rest, which is known as diastole, and there is period of contraction, which is known as systole, which we will study in detail in the cardiac cycle. The following diagram is showing the details of the cardiac cycle. As we know that when the blood returns to the resting heart through veins that empty into the right and left ventricle, the ventricle fills and pressure in them rises, and as a result the AV valves open. We can see here that AV valves open here, and they admit the blood into the ventricles. The ventricles here become 80% filled, and then the contraction of atria fills the final 20% of the 80 milliliters of blood the ventricles will receive on average in a resting person. These events occur while the ventricles are relaxing, and the period is known as a ventricle diastole. And after a slight delay, the ventricles contract, and this period of contraction is known as ventricle systole. And contraction of each ventricle increases the pressure within each chamber, and which cause the AV valves to forcefully close. We can see here the closing of the AV valves here, and it is here we listen to the sound of love during the heartbeat, and after this it prevents the blood from backing up in the atria, and immediately after the AV valves closes, the pressure in the ventricles forces the semi-lunar valves open so that blood can be pushed into the arterial system. So we can see that the arterial and ventricle diastole occurs, and as the ventricle relax, closing of the semilunar valves prevent backflow, and it is here we see the sound dub of the heartbeat. So this is all about the cardiac cycle.